Hello, I'm EBX and welcome back to the video. Today we're going to start a brand new world in Minecraft console so I could show you some of the features which exist in the game which you've probably never ever used. This is something I find fascinating because so many features have been added at one point or another with the intention of being this great thing that everyone does, but that just really caught no traction and honestly have been forgotten by most people. So today I'm going through 5 of these features you probably never used. Hopefully you do enjoy the video. You can like it if you do like it because it helps out the channel a lot and lets know you do like this sort of thing. But with that said, let's get straight into the very first thing that you've probably never used when it comes to Minecraft console and indeed Minecraft PC, because there is a generate structures box. There's so many other boxes around here. We've got like Super Flat World, we've got bonus chests, we've got all these other boxes that at some point you'll check on and off because they have a valuable function. But when it comes to generate structures, it's such a weirdly specific use case that I don't think you'd ever use it, because the thing is, generate structures, it says right here, when enabled, structures such as villages and strongholds will generate in the world. This is a description they have not updated since TU5 when they first added it, and truth be told, even back then when only villages and strongholds were the only two structures, even then you probably wouldn't consider turning this off, because why would you not want those? They were just kind of there as a just in case thing. But now there are so many more structures. They're such a key part of Minecraft, with the desert temple, the woodland mansion, all these different structures exist as structures, and why would you ever want to turn them off? And the answer is you probably wouldn't. So I'm going to turn on a generate structures off for now, and I'm going to open a brand new world just to kind of show you how sad and lonely it is, because the truth is once you turn on a world with no structures, it's just like you look around and you realize, oh, this is like a super flat world, except just worse in every way, because it's not flat like a super flat world, and it just doesn't, it's just a bunch of blocks in the ground, which again, the only reason I can think you might like it is because you're like, yeah, these structures are too OP, they give you free loot, or they give you free wood, or they give you free this or that. I just want to play Minecraft with none of that to catch me out, and maybe, just maybe that makes sense, but look how sad it is to explore a world when you know there are no structures. You'll look around, you'll be like, okay, I'm going to find myself an NPC village, it's like the rare thing to find there, or like a desert temple, what will I find? And you look around and you realize there's none of that to be found around here anywhere. There's no way to find any of that. It's just you look around and it's just nothing but pure terrain. It feels so lonely because you're the only thing in this world. There's nothing pre-built there for you. And again, this might have some use sometimes, but why would you not just start a super flat world if you really wanted that? Or to be in the future, a customized world. Again, it's a very specific use case, because even below ground structures, they're so rare to find that they're a nice surprise. There's no one who thinks like, it sucks when you mine and every 10,000 flock you accidentally find at mineshaft. No, it's cool stuff. And this even means that you can't complete the game. You can't go to the end because there is no end portal. Guess what? Part of the stronghold. And yeah, to me it just seems really pointless. Like, it's Minecraft but playing with less stuff. But like, if you wanted to play like that anyway and you were in survival, would you ever do it? You probably wouldn't. So yeah, that's the first feature in Minecraft you probably don't use. Generate structures off. I think it only exists because back when they added structures, they were scared they'd be controversial, but they just haven't taken it out since then, because maybe, just maybe, somewhere out there is using it, but it's not anyone I know, and it's not any of you, I imagine. So let's move on to the second feature you probably have never used when it comes to Minecraft console, and that is the ability to auto jump. So auto jump is in the controls, just as you can see right here. Oh, sorry, not in the controls. It's in one of the other menus for some reason, but I think it's in game options. There you go, auto jump. And as you can see, once you turn auto jump on, you'll be able to automatically jump up things. So this is a setting from the Pocket Edition, and actually does have some use on console. So if we have stairs, for instance, it will actually help us out. So some people have it turned on just for that, but no one has auto jump turned on because they don't know how to jump up blocks. Again, controllers, I feel like when it comes to touch controls, yeah, you don't have to like tap the screen every single time. It makes sense. When it comes to PC, maybe you don't know how to use your spacebar because you have to like kind of stretch your thumb or your little finger sometimes. But when it comes to the console, pressing A is not a hard thing to do. Look at me, I'm doing it right now. So when it comes to like trying to climb up some hills, having auto jump on is purely just a laziness thing. And like, again, I do it every now and then, I'll admit, but I know most people I ever speak to are like, yeah, why would I ever turn that on? I just don't need auto jump on console. And although I really love that it exists, I love that they added it, and it does have a genuine use, nobody ever uses this, and that includes you right now. In fact, it's funny, I get at least like 3 or 4 messages a day saying, Toycat, I found this secret option that I've never heard about, auto jump, before, and I'll be like, that's funny. Like, not only did they not watch the videos when they first came out, but also, like, it's such this rarely used feature that no one they've ever heard has talked about it, because that's just how that kind of comes across. So yeah, it's so poorly used that most people think it's a secret feature. It's the auto jump option. Look at me, just don't even have to press A at all. But it's so little effort I'm saving that why would I? So yeah, well, that's it. Let's move on to the third little feature that you probably have never used, which is actually a crafting and survival thing. So we grab a bunch of cobblestone and we grab a bunch of vines, which by the way, vines you can get by using shears in survival, of course. And then we want to go ahead and craft them together. What we can actually do is craft a block which you've probably never wanted to craft before, and even if you did want to craft it, you probably didn't know you could, because you can take cobblestone, you can take, I guess it's vines, but it's moss in this case, and you can make yourself some moss stones. So although this is a feature which exists, again, it's a fully functional survival recipe, it really begs the question of why would you ever want to? Because bear in mind, unless you have generate structures turned off, oh, it all makes sense now. If you have generate structures turned off and you want mossy cobblestone, I guess this is the only way. But yeah, no, assuming you don't have, generate structures turned off, then this is, just a way to get more mossy cobblestone, which, then you get from jungle temples and you get from mob spawners. But why do you need this much mossy cobblestone anyway? What do you really achieve with this block? Because to me, it is just an uglier cobblestone. Like, it's a good way to signify, like, there's danger up ahead or something's different. But, like, realistically, you look at this and you see, like, oh, yeah, so, like, I mean, it is a block and it is kind of interesting, I guess. But, the truth is, like, it just isn't a great looking texture. It's only really used for those things, and if you need those things, you probably got it from those anyway. So again, recipe, you probably didn't even know it existed, but just in case you did, maybe you should use it more. Or if in case you didn't, then maybe you should give it a try and then realize why you don't use it. So with that said, let's move on to the fourth feature in Minecraft, which you've probably never used, and it involves going back into creative, grabbing myself a couple of pickaxes and an anvil, because yeah, it's actually repairing items that aren't enchanted using an anvil. This is something the game allows you to do, and I think there must be some people who do this, but purely by accident, not because they want to, because fun fact, if you have two damaged items, you can repair them together, and if they're enchanted, this is a good idea because you can't do it by hand. But if you want, you can repair them like this, and it will cost you 2 enchantment points, which is pretty cheap actually. So you might go, yeah, that's the best way to do things, but the truth is this is actually a terrible idea, because not only is it like going to cost you enchantments, and not only you have to use up some of your anvil, but it's also just something you could do for free without needing to go to an anvil. So assuming you haven't got an anvil crafted, or it's not near you at the time, or really any situation ever in the world where you have access to your Y and X button. Again, the only reason I can see you not just using the repair function like this is because you don't have like your Y or X button working. But yeah, as you can see, if you just press X while one of these is over the other one, you'll repair them together for free. You don't even have to use 2 XP and anvil thing and walk over to one. You can just press X over them, and then you got a brand new pickaxe just like that. The only reason to use anvils is when it comes to enchantments. The only reason to use anvils is when it comes to combining like different items or repairing it with like diamonds instead of the axe itself. But if you have 2 of the same item and they're both not enchanted, you would never use an anvil. But I feel like every now and then someone does. But it's kind of like, I guess, the opposite thing, where you should know about this in case you don't, and just in case I blew your mind, you're like, whoa, Toycat, you can do that? Well, you're welcome. So yeah, pretty handy little feature. If you don't know it, not only does it combine the 2 items to your ability, but it also gives you a 5% boost, so you have every reason in the world not to use an anvil. Just don't do it, in case somehow you know someone who is. So let's move on to the final feature, which you probably, have never used, even though it's a cool one. Again, I used it a little bit when it first came out, but it's too much effort to do on a regular basis, because it does involve us grabbing a little bit of cooked rabbit, as well as a carrot, as well as a potato. I'm not sure if it's meant to be cooked or not, as well as a mushroom, as well as a bowl. So you might look at all these ingredients and go like, why do you need that many? And most of you probably know like immediately what it is when you see all that sort of stuff, but it's still quite fascinating to me the fact that it requires so much to do. So yeah, this is the rabbit stew recipe. If you don't know, you can go on a crafting table, you can combine them together, and you can make rabbit stew. It genuinely is that many items, so it looks like it's cooked potato. It's 5 separate items to make one type of item, and you might think like, yeah, it's cool though, because it's the best food in the game, and rabbit stew is the best food in the game by one measure and one measure alone. And again, it's the most visible measure, so you might think, oh, so it must be the best, because rabbit stew will allow you to restore 5 of those hunger hearts. And again, I'm gonna have to, or hunger shanks. I guess we'll just take a lot of damage. So you'll see if my hunger shanks go down, that I'll be able to. So we'll just take a little bit of damage right now. When my hunger shanks go down, I'll be able to recover 5 of them using this, which means even if you're literally starving to death, 2 of these rabbit stews will save you from, death. So you might think, oh, that's the best food in the game. Only 2 required instead of 3, but they come with a bunch of other downsides. So first of all, you can't stack them together. If you have a rabbit stew just like this, then you can only have 1 rabbit stew per slot. So unless you're only crafting 1 bit of food that you can have with you, why would you ever use rabbit stew as opposed to, just cook pork chops where you can have 64 in a stack? So then you might argue, well, if it's PvP Toycat, you need to be really ready for the combat, so you eat one of these and you're especially good. And although this food has good saturation, it doesn't have as good saturation as the golden carrot, so it's still just a worse form of another food. And then you realize like the only thing this food has going for it is if you have exactly 5 hearts down and you have those ingredients on you, which you shouldn't because it wastes inventory space, and you're fine with just like having a spare bowl at the end, then this food is pretty darn good. But any other situation in the game ever that I can reasonably conceive of is just, this is just not a good food. The rabbit stew is just such a clunky, pointless, effort, so filled with effort food that no one I know has ever really crafted one seriously in survival, because getting all those things together, having a carrot farm, having a potato farm, having rabbit, rabbits aren't an easy thing to kill. You don't farm them for their meat because you would never need to, and then having some bowls, and then having some mushrooms lying around so you can craft that all together. It's just so much effort that I don't know anyone who's ever seriously done it in survival, and if you have, I'd love to for you to tell me in the comments down below. But for now, I hope you did all enjoy this video, going over 5 features you've probably never used. You can like the video if you did like it, because it helps out the channel a lot, and let us know you do like this sort of video, share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here. I'd love to know if you do any of these things, honestly, in the comments down below, because all of them are just so wacky, and like, I've never done them myself, and like, I don't know anyone who's like actually done them, but if that's you, then let me know. Also, oh by the way, auto jump, this is the worst problem with it to me. Even if you go into water with auto jump turned on, you kind of like just stay like floating like this. So if you want to go below the water, you have to stay still. Every time you move, you just you start floating up like that. It's a little bit ridiculous, but as you can see, why would anyone ever do this? You have to like kind of crouch if you want to walk at the same time, or like do this, which is terrible if you're going into an ocean monument or something. So auto jump, even worse. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you're new around here, and hit the bell notification so you can see these videos daily on your homepage. Also follow me at IBXToyCat. I know I'm like doing this stuff too much recently, but YouTube's getting a little bit worse, and there's even removed the subscriptions page. So if you want to see that, then you can follow me at IBXToyCat. And if you're fine with it, then you can not. So thank you very much for watching. This time, I'm going to say goodbye, and it will really be goodbye. So, see you next time.